The future is here. Are you ready to go back to the future?
Because if you are, we have this, the R36T, a retro TV. Yes, folks, we have it in-house. We're going to do our unboxing and review of this really unique, stylish device. But does it live up to the hype? If you were in a store and somebody was pitching it to you, would you be impressed?
The game console R36T has this awesome custom curved bezel that mimics the look of an old CRT retro TV.
Wow, that's way too big. AI, come on. Anyways, thankfully, the actual one is not that big. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode of our awesome content. But let's dive into nostalgia and let's take a look at the game console R36T. Some things in life can be intimidating. They can be a little scary, but they don't have to. In fact, going to the dentist doesn't have to be that way. Just look at how we handle things at Deadfred Dental.
This is my first time.
At Deadfred Dental, we cater to noobs.
That's right, noob. Come on down to Deadfred Dental and get your cleaning. No, wait, I don't own a dental office. I'm not a dentist, and that is sort of a creepy name, Deadfred Dental. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Or welcome to the channel for the first time, new deadheads. Today, we're going to take a look at the R36T. And we'll start with the box. And as usual, we have a really nice box. Now, it's very plain cardboard, but this cardboard and white look, I think, is a good combination. It looks really good. I like that it's talking about the retro TV here. And we do have a picture of the unit on the front with the R36T name. T for TV, I guess. Around the side, we have some nice little design here. I kind of like that. Nothing else around the rest of the sign. We do have our sticker for the colorway we've got here. We got the gray model. And then on the back, we do have our specs. So this is running EMU-ELEC. We know this from the very beginning. It's got a quad-core Cortex 835. I believe it's a 3326, but we're not sure. It's got a 1 gig eMMC and an 8 gig RAM. I'm sorry, 8 gig eMMC and 1 gig RAM. 3.5 inch 640 by 480, 3000 milliamp hour battery, and it supports Wi-Fi, though it doesn't have Wi-Fi built in. But opening the box, surprise, we do have a case. I really like the companies that are doing this. I think this is a really nice touch. If you think about it, at these price points, these under $50, to throw in a case with this, that's just really nice. Opening the case up and taking a peek inside, and we do have things in here. So we'll begin with the USB-C cord, a typical USB-A to C cord, and then we do have our instruction manual. Now looking at our instruction manual, and this is pretty nice. It does have good information. Not, it's a decent manual, not overly done. It does have some instructions on how to save your PSP, your NDS, the charging instructions, and again, we do have our specs here. It does say RK3326 here on the manual, so we'll see if that's what it turns out to be. And then on the back, it does have more information about how to switch to emulator cores. This will be pretty good for a new person. So, no screen protector in there, but that's okay. We got this nice case, and this is not a touch screen, so getting the handheld out of here, there's nothing else left in the bag, so we'll get that out of the way here, and we'll take the handheld out and take a look at it. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt the video, but I wanted to take a moment to talk to you about something sent to us by our friends at Mechdiy. So they sent us over an amazing card. It is the Surwish 256 gigabyte card for your Miu Mini Flip. That's right. If you want to have just a pre-set up experience with the games properly scraped with an amazing custom firmware that they created, then check out the link at the bottom here and get your own version of the Surwish OS for the Miyu Mini Flip. Now, I've been playing this and testing it out, and it has a bunch of awesome themes. It's got everything set up easy to go, and it is based on a version of CrossMix. So, yes, this is awesome. I do highly recommend this. And again, if you already have the Flip, you can simply buy the card, or you can buy the card with the Flip itself. Again, hit the link at the bottom. We want to thank our friends at Mechdiy for sending this over for us to look at and test. But yeah, this service is awesome. Also, check out the open source firmware at the GitHub. If you would want to set it up yourself, you can do that as well. Anyways, back to the show. Okay, taking the handheld out, and I gotta say, this thing is striking. It's even better looking in person. You know, seeing the pictures of this, I was kind of excited about this. I'm collecting these little TV type handheld things just because I have a lot of nostalgia for the old CRT. I remember my very first TV as a 9-year-old, or maybe I was 8-year-old, was actually a black and white TV. Okay, I'm aging myself a bit, but I really do love the look of this. And this thing just has a really striking look. Now, this is a 640 by 480 screen, but they've cleverly added this bezel thing around it and then used the software to make it fit in there so that it looks like a CRT effect. Now, we're not getting CRT shaders. The RK3326 is not going to be able to push those the way it should, but this will hopefully have a good look for it. But let's start with the hardware and look at it as we usually do, and we'll start with the buttons. And the buttons are connected, no surprise there, but they seem solid. They seem pretty good. They have a nice travel distance. They're not overly loud. Yeah, so I'm okay with the buttons. They feel like, you know, standard buttons that you find at this budget price that you would come to expect. The function button, it's a little clicky and loud. Start and select. So those are kind of clicky. And then the thing I was most concerned about is this D-pad. Now, to be honest, I'm not sure why they went with this disc-looking D-pad. It immediately gave me a flashback to the thing that the Game MT people used that we hated. So let's try it out and see. And it's not as bad as I would have thought. So it's actually not bad. It has pretty good pivot. It's almost like underneath this disc is a traditional D-pad. I'm not sure. You can't really take this off. And it does rise up above and gives it almost the feel like you're putting your hand on a joystick, you know, a stick, but you're not. Now, we'll have to wait until we get into the gameplay to see if this actually lives up to what we expect. But so far, giving it a fair shot, I don't hate it. You know, I do kind of wish we could have had just the normal R36S type stick D-pad that we're used to seeing. But they went with this, and it does give it a unique look like a knob. And perhaps that's why they were doing it, to make it look more like a TV knob. I'm not sure. And then going on to the single stick, this is like the K36S that had the single stick with this little design here. So this is sort of similar, and it's fine. It is a Joy-Con style stick, so it feels just like the normal ones we see all around. And this does have RGB, so that does light up. Moving around the side, and we do have a volume up and down on this side. Going around the top, we do have a DC and OTG port and an auxiliary for headphones. On the other side, we have our power and reset and a single SD card slot. And then on the bottom, we do have a speaker, so bottom firing speaker of that. Moving to the back, and let's try the triggers. And they feel just like the R36 line, K36 line of triggers. They do look like they've been a little shortened. They don't hang over as much, which is fine. And then we have the nice typical butt humps that we've been used to. I really like this. It helps grip, it helps hold it, makes things, you know, easier to do. So really nice. So again, I love the aesthetic of this. If anything, I love the look of this, and I'm really hopeful that the software will help make it give that experience. But let's boot this thing up. We know it's Emulec. Let's boot it up and see what happens. Hey Deadhead, sorry to interrupt the video, but I wanted to talk to you today about this, the Ken Hank K56. This is an amazing handheld, a 5.5 inch, very comfortable to hold handheld, but even better, our friends at Ken Hank have put this with a fully curated, awesome ROM collection that has everything set up for beginners. So if you want to purchase this for somebody that just wants to grab and play, this is the perfect handheld for that. When I got this for review, I was really impressed with the curation aspect of it. Now, the price of this is a little bit more, but with my coupons and our friends over at AliExpress, you can get this at a good price. Again, this is the Ken Hank K56, and it is a handheld that I like a lot, especially for its awesome curated ROM collection. It can play reliably up through N64, Dreamcast, Sega Saturn, Nintendo DS. It can also dabble just a little bit in PS2 and GameCube. Anyways, check my description at the bottom for your codes to save. And we want to thank our friends at AliExpress as always for sponsoring this video. We'll see you next time. Back to the show. All right, let's boot this thing up. We know it's Emulec, and let's see. So we have this really nice, stylish opening sequence. Again, they've really delved into the whole retro TV sort of thing here. And I really think that not only did they give us a physical design, but they actually put some work into the software. Look at that. It reminds me of the old TVs at night when they would go out and the signal would go away. Really cool stuff. The Miyu thing, I did change it. You can change it to different things there. But we do have, again, the one sort of theme here, and it's hard to see on video, but this thing just pops. It looks cool. The way that the bezel is out and the screen's below it, I don't know, it's something about it makes it just look really, really cool. It is 640 by 480, but for some reason it looks sharper than that. Now this is Emulec, so going into the Emulec settings, we have our normal settings. This is Emulec 4.7, so one of the newer versions. Now the user interface theme sets, it is in the Retro TV one. There is one other one, an Epic Cody. However, if we go into the Epic Cody and change it, it doesn't quite look the same. You know, again, they've really kind of made this kind of look the correct way with that. So you probably can get on here with your, let me turn the music off here. You can get on there and download other themes, but really, I'm going to say just stay with the theme that they loaded up with, because again, this retro TV theme is just going to make it look perfect and exact as it is. Now, since we believe this is a Rockchip 3326, playing through the game footage, you can see that also they went in and they have, as I show some game footage here, they have made sure that the screen fits appropriately using all the settings. Now, we saw Retroid with the Pocket Mini V2, I'm sorry, the V1, kind of do something similar, although they weren't admitting of it. But again, you have a 640 by 480 screen, but the software is being compressed and moved into a position so that it looks like it's fitting right into this TV screen. And let me tell you, the settings that they chose and put as far as all of the things make this thing look sharp and nice. Game Boy on this looks really good. Now, testing this D-pad out, I found the D-pad is a little bit of a delay. Again, I don't hate the D-pad as much as I thought I might, but it's just not, I just, again, don't understand why they have to do different types of D-pads. I'll give it to them that this gives it a more of an official TV look to it, having this disc pad here, like a knob on an old CRT TV. But, you know, overall, I would have preferred that they just went with a more traditional D-pad. However, we do have the stick, and the stick is fine, and I use the stick a lot for stuff like Game Boy ever since once in a while. Now, trying to push this thing up, you know, the highest thing you're going to have on here is a little bit of Dreamcast. It's an N64. And yeah, it ran N64 like I would expect for a 3326. So I don't think I'm going to open this up because I didn't get any surprises here. It's got Emulec. It's playing like my other Emulec 3326s. It feels like it. So for all intents and purposes, I would say that it is an Emulec 3326. So let's talk about this review overall. This is a very niche, collector type, unique system here. Would I want to play this more so than I would want to play, for instance, the K36S, which we reviewed, which has the same single stick with that like that? And I gotta say, I think I would. Now, I'm somebody that has a lot of nostalgia for these old CRT TVs. Now, so, for somebody else, for a younger person, they may not like the way this looks. So keep that in mind if you're buying this for somebody. But overall, I don't hate this. I like it. I like it a lot for the style. There's some things about it that could probably be better, but at the budget pricing they're going for, I think it's very acceptable and very fair. The gameplay does as expected. They built the software to match this bezel and screen. It has a nice little popping look to it. It's just stunning in person. It's hard to put on video. The D-pad is not as awful as I thought it could be, although it's not super great either. And it does have, the one stick. But yeah, overall, I'm satisfied with this. I like it. I love this colorway. There was a blue one that I thought was even better looking, but I went with the gray one because I think that this was really good looking overall. So if you can get this at the right price at sale and you like the look of this, I think you're going to like it even better in person. I think that's how I'd sum up this review. This has turned out to be better looking in person than I thought it would be from the videos or the images I saw. So that's it, guys. I'm really excited about this. I like the company that's doing this. I think it's a newer company that is going to come out. They have another exciting product that I'm going to be showcasing pretty soon that also has a very unique look to it. I love when the companies try new things, so I'm encouraging this. I really think this is great, and this could be an awesome gift for that middle-aged person that has nostalgia about CRT TVs. What a great Christmas gift, especially if you could get this at around $40. Anyways, guys, that's our unboxing review of this. I like it. We've had a few lately that I've just hated and couldn't recommend, but I recommend this one. I think this is a good one. Overall, it really is. Anyways, remember to hug your loved ones and love your hugged ones because tomorrow is never promised. We'll see you next time, Deadheads. Deadfred out.